I don't even know how to process what we just saw this weekend. This is one of those NASCAR moments that starts off feeling like a joke, like something you don't take seriously at all. And then somehow by the end of it, you are sitting there going, wait, did that really just happen? Because coming into this race, there was a ton of noise, a ton of doubt, and honestly, a lot of people ready to see this whole thing fail. And not just fans. I'm talking about respected voices in the sport who were not holding back at all. It felt like this was set up to be a disaster from the very beginning. But by the time Saturday was over, the entire conversation flipped completely, and not in a small way either. We are talking about people going from straight up criticism to basically admitting they were wrong in a matter of hours. And trust me, the way it happened, it was not clean, it was not pretty, and it definitely was not what anyone expected. So yeah, we got to talk about this. And hey, real quick, if you are a true NASCAR fan like me, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. This channel is just getting started. We are pushing toward 1,000 subscribers, and we are building a real community of fans who actually live and breathe this sport every week. All right, now let's get into what really went down. So now we can actually talk about it, because what Cleetus McFarland did at Rockingham Speedway was messy, chaotic, borderline out of control at times. But at the same time, it was exactly the kind of performance that forces the entire garage to rethink everything they said before the green flag. Let's start with where all this pressure came from. Before he even touched the track, Kyle Petty absolutely went off. And I mean off. He basically said NASCAR should not be letting internet sensations into National Series rides if they have not climbed the ladder the traditional way. His whole argument was about protecting the integrity of the sport. And honestly, a lot of fans agreed with him, because when you look at Garrett Mitchell's resume, it was not exactly stacked. A few Arca Menard Series starts in 2025, a rough Daytona Truck Series debut where he spun early, and then suddenly he is in a top-tier ride with Richard Childress Racing driving the number 33. That is why people were calling it a marketing move instead of a racing move. Even insiders were not fully sold. Rodney Childers said it would take a miracle for him to even finish the race. Travis Cavell admitted he wanted to stay as far away as possible on track. That is the level of doubt we are talking about. So Saturday begins, and this is where things get interesting. Before the main event, Cleetus runs the Arca Menard Series East race with Raja Jones racing in the number 30 car. And this was the first sign that maybe something was different. He qualifies 7th runs, clean stays on the lead lap battles. Guys like Isaac Kitsom Miller and Connor Hall, takes advantage of incidents from Max Reeves and Gavin Bosley and brings it home in 4th place. That is his first top 5 finish in any NASCAR sanctioned race. His teammate George Siciliano, also known as Squirrel McNutt, finishes 9th, and Tristan McKee wins the race, going back-to-back to start the season. But the emotional moment came after the race. Cleetus dedicates the run to Greg Biffle, talking about how he was just turning left for Greg. You could feel it meant something deeper, and suddenly the narrative shifts just a little from this is a joke to, okay, maybe he belongs out here learning. Then comes the real test, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. He starts 35th, and right away you see exactly why Dale Nard Jr. told him before the race, do not try to be a hero. Lap 4, 3 wide into turn 1. He throws it in, gets sideways, nearly ends his day instantly, and somehow saves it. It was incredible, but also terrifying, because that is the kind of move that gets people in trouble fast. And honestly, that moment kind of defined his entire race. There were flashes, real flashes of instinct and car control, but also a ton of overdrive. Lap 49, Blake Lothayon spins in front of him, and he barely avoids it. Then you have pit road speeding penalties, multiple half spins, tire wear issues from pushing too hard early. At the end of stage 1, he is 35th 1 lap down. Stage 2, he is 33rd 2 laps down. And then there is that moment. He works his way up to 26. You can hear the excitement. This is the best he has run all day. Next corner, he overdrove it, spun on lap 206, and brought out a caution. That right there shows the gap. The speed was not quite there yet, but the emotion and hunger were real. But here is the part that changed everything. He kept going through all of it, and by the end, he finishes 30 seconds, 6 laps down. That sounds rough, but he completed all 250 laps. He did not destroy the car. He did not take anyone out. He did not become a moving hazard. And in NASCAR, especially at a place like Rockingham, that matters. Even Danny Lawrence from RCR said they still need to improve, and NASCAR might want another race before approving him for super speedways like Talladega or Daytona. They did not even get a proper live pit stop in. So, internally, they know this was not perfect. But then comes the biggest twist of the entire weekend. Kyle Penny, the same guy who said he did not belong, comes on air after the race and basically says, if you are going to criticize, you have to give credit. He admits Cleetus ran every lap, stayed out of the way, and did not tear anything up. And then he says Cleetus smacked him in the face and shut his mouth. That is not a small walk back. That is a full reversal. And he was not the only one. Justin Alge, the 2024 Series champion, said Cleetus did exactly what he needed to do and that he had no problem racing around him. Mark Martin pointed out how difficult Rockingham is and said just getting through that weekend at his experience level says a lot. Even Dale Nard Jr.'s advice ended up being perfect. Do not be a hero, just survive and learn. And that is exactly what happened. Cleetus himself admitted it. He said it was the hardest thing he has ever done. He said he felt like he spun 50 times and almost crashed 10 times. He realized mid-run he was in way over his head and then started learning by following Jesse Love's lines. That is real growth happening in real time. And across both races that day, he completed 369 out of 375 laps. That is not luck. That is effort. So what does all this mean? It means the conversation has changed. He did not show up and dominate, not even close, but he proved he can survive. He can learn. He can handle the pressure without wrecking the field. And now everything shifts to what happens next, because Talladega is suddenly on the table. Cleetus is already joking, saying, "See you in 2 weeks." But NASCAR is going to look at this carefully. They might want another race first. And honestly, that is the right call, because what we saw at Rockingham was not proof that he is ready for the biggest stages, but it was proof that he belongs in the conversation. And that is a massive win. At the start of the weekend, this was a guy being told he had no place in NASCAR. By the end of it, he had legends admitting they were wrong. And that does not happen often in this sport. So, now I got to ask you, do you think Cleetus McFarland actually earned a shot at Talladega, or did he just do barely enough to survive the criticism? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And honestly, here is my take as a fan who watches this sport 7:007 minutes every single week. I came into this weekend thinking this was going to go bad, like really bad. I understood what Kyle Petty was saying and I kind of agreed with it. NASCAR is supposed to be the top level and you are not supposed to just skip steps because you have a big audience. But after watching everything that happened at Rockingham, I cannot sit here and say Cleetus did not earn some level of respect. Was he fast? No. Was it clean? Not even close. But he did the one thing that matters most for a driver at his level, stepping into that situation. And he finished the race without wrecking the field. And he learned as the race went on. And that is way harder than people think, especially at a place like Rockingham. You could actually see the moment where it started to click for him, when he got behind Jesse Love and realized he had been attacking the corners all wrong. That is not something you fake. That is real driver awareness starting to build. Now, with that said, I am not ready to say, throw him into Talladega tomorrow and let him figure it out. That would be a mistake. I think NASCAR and RCR are right to be cautious. 8:008 minutes. Give him another race. Let him keep learning. Let him prove that this was not just a one-time survival run, because surviving is step one. Being competitive is step two. But what he did this weekend changed the conversation. He went from being seen as a gimmick to someone people are at least willing to watch and evaluate seriously. And in NASCAR, that is a big deal. So for me, he did not prove he is ready yet, but he absolutely proved he deserves the chance to keep trying. And if you are into real NASCAR conversations like this, no filters, just fans talking racing, make sure you subscribe to NASCAR Nation. We are a new channel. We are pushing toward 1,000 subscribers, and we are building something real here for people who actually love this sport. Hit like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.